Take a step into Miami's heat and imagine a fresh narrative unfolding, one drenched in electric expectation. Right now, the Dolphins fan base pulses with something raw, not just thirst for a playoff win, but a hunger for transformation. That's because this franchise carries a 25-year playoff victory drought like a heavy chain, and after careful offseason tweaks, that chain might finally be cracking. The offseason moves have sparked a glowing ember of hope. Meanwhile, just up I-95, the Panthers have done the unthinkable again. They've claimed a second straight Stanley Cup. South Florida is buzzing, and Dolphins supporters feel the sting. It's not just jealousy, it's a realization. If a team here, 1 year ago barely beyond mediocrity, can rise to dynasty chatter, why can't their beloved Dolphins? Some evenings, the conversation online explodes. Panthers versus Dolphins versus long-gone Heat or the dominant 70s Dolphins. Everyone throws stats at each other. He hit 4 NBA Finals in a row. But there's something more visceral at play. What feels right? Looking back, the Dolphins once stood unmatched. Playoff debut in 70, a Super Bowl loss in 71, then 2 straight championships in 72 and 73. The perfect season in 72, etched forever. But since then, scraps, brief flashes, the taste of postseason blood only to be ejected in the first round. The Panthers, though, they've changed. Not just roster, not just coach, their identity. In 2023, they peeled back from high-octane offense to gritty, disciplined defense. It wasn't sexy, it was calculated. They brought in Matthew Tkachuk and added Paul Maurice, a coach who demands accountability and toughness. Suddenly, postseason pressure didn't crack them, it forged them. And that shift begs a question. What if the Dolphins did the same? What if they traded a bit of flash for backbone, a bit of histrionics for ice-cold discipline? Because for all of Mike McDaniel's offensive wizardry, his schemes, his speed-driven motion, results haven't followed real deep. They've flirted with contention in 22, again in 23, but each time fell short. Why? Injuries? Sure, but that's not the whole picture. The draft offers clues. Kenneth Grant, a defensive tackle from Oregon, and Jonah Savaiania, an offensive guard who dances between fire and finesse. These picks whisper of something new. Maybe the Dolphins are loading muscle to match speed. Maybe they're starting to stitch grit into the marrow of their offense. Maybe, just maybe, they're edging toward balance. Let's paint it out. Right now, this team is built on dynamism. Tyreek Hill scorching defenses with speed. Tua Tagovailoa threading impossible throws. A playbook that reads like street art. It's dazzling, but it's also fragile. As soon as the chips go in and defenses clamp harder, as soon as injuries bite, that flash fizzles. Contrast that with the Panthers. Evenings of grinding defense, postseason composure, the kind of game built not on spectacle but durability. So here comes the magnetic pull. Can the Dolphins stay dazzling and durable? Can they merge McDaniel's creative offense with a front that simply won't yield? Can Tua's rocket arm combine with a trench that breathes toughness? That's the flavor of intrigue feeding fans right now. Picture the locker room. You've got guys in their 20s and early 30s, peering at a franchise that hasn't delivered playoff wins in generations. The Panthers in the next city. They just did it 2 years straight. That's not just a win in a locker room. That's a psychological push. That's teammates whispering in the hallway. Why not us? And here's where personality matters. If Tua, mentally wounded by past playoff heartbreak, steps up and says, "We internalize defense now," that mood could ripple. But it's not magic. This is architecture. It's installing new blueprint standards. It's asking vibes and speed to take a back seat to imposing presence. It's opening the season with an ethos. We're here to out-tough, not just out-scheme. You could see it in training camp. Who's lining up? Who's hitting the hole? Who's embracing the grind? And you know what else defines era changing? Coaching clarity. In South Florida, Dolphins fans have endured stylistic rollovers. New offense, new QB, new hope. But no one's locked onto identity. McDaniel's still young in this head coach maze, and he's creative. But the business of playoff football, it's about calm. It's about closing out big rooms. It's about saying, I don't care if we don't put up 45 points. As long as we hold them to 17 and win, that's identity. That's what the Panthers did, gambling on low scores, grinding it out, and trusting discipline. And if McDaniel channels that, imagine Miami in November. Tua's weapons humming, their D-line getting after QBs, defense making stops, offense scoring just enough. That's playoff ready. That's different. That snaps the fragile vibe that led to those one-and-done heartbreaks.